Conference here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. I've got the privilege of sitting down with Hedgie Bartold from Aura, Senior Director over at Aura.
Yep.
You've had the pleasure of attending Clear for a number of years.
I've been coming to Clear since there were like 50 people in the room. It's kind of changed a little bit.
A little bit different, right?
A little bit.
How about that opening ceremony?
That was really cool. I was in the back of the room, and I had to take a picture because I really was just kind of floored at how many people we have here now. And it's a legit conference.
Yep.
It was very grassroots in the beginning, and it's really developed into something that I think is really beneficial, both for our law enforcement partners as well as the retailers.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
You should name it something like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, like a coalition. I don't know, something like that.
A little coalition of law enforcement and retail.
Hey, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Hey, that would work with Clear too, wouldn't it?
That wouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be really good. So, talk to me. Aura.
Yeah.
Fairly new to the scene. I mean, only a few years old, I think, right?
Yep.
Developing solutions for this specific arena, ORC, Organized Retail Crime. Talk to me about some of the things you all are delivering.
So, Aura was actually created, our founders are in New Zealand, and they basically were hearing the news and seeing what was happening with organized retail crime, repeat offenders, and they thought, there's got to be a way to combat this. And they just sort of looked at the structure of our world today, a lot of, the way we're all becoming very social media-esque, and basically put together a platform to aggregate the data on various cases and events, allow the link analysis and do some machine learning and AI on the back end to determine repeat offenders and who's linked with who and who's associated with who, provide you a tremendous amount of data behind that tells you what's happening in your stores, who's attacking your stores, the vehicles they're driving, the people they're associated with, the products, the value, the time of day, the locations, and build those investigations and give you a tool so that your investigators can actually, instead of just reporting on an event or a crime, they can actually do something about it. It's actionable data. They can put together an investigation, collaborate with law enforcement very easily, collaborate with other retailers, and what you might think or on the surface might look like a $500 theft. Not only was it 510 times from your store, but hey, they also hit these other 5 stores. Now we can work together in a controlled environment instead of WhatsApp and emails and jump drives and things that may or may not be the right way to do it. We provide that platform with the guardrails so that they can, in a protected environment, collaborate together, work together to pursue these criminals and prove that it was, in fact, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 case across state lines to multiple retailers. And what was interesting, I was at the LP Foundation Town Hall earlier this year, and one of the speakers from law enforcement was talking about how, quite honestly, the DAs don't care about shoplifting, right? They don't care.
Yeah.
But
it's been going on for a number of years.
Yeah, not the first you've heard of it.
It's almost like criminal justice has been weaning itself off of, shoplifting.
Right. We ain't got time for that.
Right, exactly.
Well, but what they did say is they said, we will prosecute every single ORC case that you bring us. So how do you prove it's ORC? Right? How do you prove that they're doing this for their own profit, right? For their own business, criminal business venture? Well, if you can prove that it's been multiple times, the same products across state lines, working with these other teams and fences and so forth, there you go. That's organized retail crime. And hey, Mr. DA, you said you'd prosecute this. Here it is, served up on a silver platter for you.
Well, I think the biggest thing, especially with a product such as Aura, sorry.
You'll get there.
I'll get there sooner or later. The collaboration.
Yeah.
Collaboration. I mean, I can remember back, 100 years ago now, at least it feels that way. Early days, working at Kmart, right, in their loss prevention division. And, it was unusual to have a conversation with, say, Walmart across the street. Right. And, boy, you really had to tap dance around that one. Or you just didn't tell anybody and you did it anyway.
There's that.
Just to, hey, they were just here, they're coming to you now.
Right.
And now the landscape has changed so much.
It really has. And you know what? Because I haven't been here for 100 years, maybe 80 or 90. But really from
Thanks, Hedgie.
Well, I'm just a young buck. Even from when I first started in the industry, I was always really kind of impressed and fascinated with the fact that you can have Walmart and Target in the same room, when it comes to loss prevention, and they'll share it. They'll talk. They'll talk best practices. What are you doing? How are you doing it? What are some of your problems? Because they compete on sales, but they don't compete on shrink, right? We're all fighting the same bad guys, and we've all agreed not to catch all the criminals because we want to be out of a job.
Right.
But there is that need to collaborate. There's that need to work together because, let's face it, the criminals are working together against you guys, right? So the only way you're going to be able to defeat that is to work together against them. And I have heard that time and time and time again at all the trade show association conferences that we go to, talking about how important it is to work together, to collaborate, to come together, build our good guy network to defeat the bad guy network. Yeah. And it's I don't think it's ever been as prevalent as it is now. Yeah. We have an obligation to our society to do something about this. Right. My wife and children, your family, our friends, they're faced with what's happening in the stores. And let's face it, the violence is getting worse, right? ORC and repeat offenders are a direct correlation to the violence that's happening in stores.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't like my family shopping when their lives are at risk. And your life should not be at risk at your local store.
Right.
Right. You shouldn't have that fear. And I won't name the retailer, but they mentioned last week at, again, the LPF-LPM meeting that their violence in their stores is up this year alone 67%.
That's just unbelievable.
And use of a weapon is up 100% over the past 2 years of significant growth. Yeah. And it's like, that's scary.
Yeah, very scary.
So,
and you think about it, in the old days, they might fight. Or they'd fight enough so they could run. They
just wanted to get away.
Yeah, they just wanted to get away. Now it's, no, game on.
Bring it on.
Game on.
And our data shows that a repeat offender is more than 4 times likely to become violent in your stores. It's these people, to them, this is their business. This is how they're making a living. This is how they're feeding their family. Yeah. I'm not saying it's right. It's wrong. But in their minds, they're like, whoa, you're affecting my life. Right. Don't you stop me. Yeah. And they also know that if you touch them, well, now, instead of stealing product, they're going to get you for assault. Yeah. And sue you.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys, you all, because of your customer base, right, as a solution provider, you all have an immense amount of data.
We do. We are a very data-rich platform.
You can challenge or provide those, challenges to law enforcement, to the district attorney, to the prosecutor, with real, actionable intelligence.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's not just intelligence on the crime, right? Because we're also telling you what products are being stolen and things like that. We actually had one retailer, they thought that one of their highest theft items was one thing. And I don't want to say what it was. You might know the retailer. But they thought that was because it kept disappearing. Right. And they were convinced it was being stolen. Come to find out, once they started using the platform and getting the data out of the platform, that item wasn't even showing up. So that gave them something they needed to dig a little further into. Right. And guess what?
That's a supply chain issue.
It was a vendor fraud thing.
Oh, well, there's those too.
So they were like, I guess we need to pursue this a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
But it told them what was happening. Yeah. And we can talk all day long about analytics and the great things that are happening with video analytics and so forth and giving you that insight to what's happening in your store. But to have the hard data as far as, all the activity and what's going on is invaluable.
Well, it's marrying. It's marrying that information together.
Absolutely.
Which is key.
And that's one of the things we're working on. We're building out what we call our connected ecosystem, which will allow other technologies and other solution providers to layer their technology into our platform. And so once you start getting, the multiple data points, right, and the multiple things of information coming together in there, 1 + 1 = 3. Right. And you're going to get way more power out of it. Yep. And the days of closed systems are over. Right. So as a retailer, you have the ability to say, well, I'm already using this and I'm already using that, and I've got your platform that can bring it all together. I don't need to go out and buy something new. Right. I can just connect all these things.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, and how beneficial is that in putting together a case, an investigation, and really, driving home, hey, this is what's happening, because the retailer, the business people need to take it to law enforcement, and basically now, more than ever before, it is a bow on it. Now more than ever before, now law enforcement gets it. Right. But at the same time, somebody still has to deliver it to the prosecutor. Right. So being able to bring all that information together, it was always a challenge. Yeah. So overcoming that hurdle is ginormous. Yeah. It really helps paint the picture, lay a solid foundation for case prosecution, and that's really important.
Yeah.
You know, putting people behind bars, taking action is key, because you said it earlier, they don't think there's consequences.
Right. Well, and by and large, there haven't been.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Until recently, the judicial system is catching up for sure.
Yeah.
We just got to be able to help the law enforcement people, providing them the tools and the information they need to be able to do their job.
Yeah.
A lot of people have asked me, and I'm surprised you didn't. I was at Axis for 10 years. Right?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Everybody thought I was going to retire from there, and
Yeah.
I did too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so people, why did you change? And honestly, the God's honest truth is that I saw an opportunity to make a difference in society. And every single person we have here at Aura is of that same mindset of, we want to catch some bad guys. Mm-hmm. We want to make a difference. We want to make the stores and our society safer for our friends, our family, and we want to catch some bad guys because it's hurting all of us.
Yeah.
And the far-reaching effects of ORC are really disturbing. I know you know, but not a lot of people know that ORC has been linked to human trafficking, weapons trafficking, drug activity, terrorism. It is very far-reaching.
Oh, yeah. It's a syndicate. It's an absolute syndicate. Yep. I agree 100%. It's just insane. Some of the things, we have multi-million-dollar cases,
right,
that are being churned out by retail and law enforcement investigators quarterly.
Yeah.
We're seeing these cases that are just like, as an executive, former executive, and obviously, I've had these conversations with CEOs and CFOs, and they're like, how did it get this out of control? And you got to understand, you're only taking inventory so often, and it isn't until a customer realizes that, or asks, where's this product? I want it, and it's not there
never
anymore.
Here.
Yeah, it's never here, or one day it's here, and the next day it's gone. Nobody knows what happened, because some of these shoplifting groups, they, for a talent, it's not really a great talent, but they're very talented at getting this stuff out of the store. So
well, and it's interesting because we found in our data that on average with our customers, 10% of their offenders are causing over 62% of their loss.
Yep.
I actually think that number's inaccurate now. I think it's much higher. But we do have one customer, who I won't mention, that the data showed them that 10% of their offenders are causing 94% of their total shrink.
That's
94%.
an incredible number.
So think about it. If you can if you know who those 10% are, and you're able to only focus on them, that's almost all of your shrink.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And
absolutely.
the DAs that were given a presentation last week said it would be great if you guys could give us a list of your top 10 offenders. And I'm like, you want one? I got it.
All right.
And it's so nice to be able to identify those people, focus on those people, and then you're focusing on the majority of your loss.
Yep.
And what makes it even harder, the data also shows that out of all the people that come in your store, that's only 0.04% make up that 10% causing the majority of your loss.
Yeah.
So it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Right.
So you've got to be able to have a platform that gives you this visibility. And if you think about the talent that so many of these investigators have with the tools they've been accustomed to, your traditional case management where you report on it, you put it in a file, and they've got the ability to go, hey, wait a minute, I got some dots I can connect.
Right.
So if you gave them a tool that did a lot of that for them, and they're already really good at it, imagine to the degree they could take it to.
Well, and and it's always been kind of the approach, especially that I used when I was an executive in loss prevention, was, especially with a political figure, a DA, somebody that's elected into office. Hey, look, I'm losing sales. You're losing tax revenue.
Absolutely.
So you understand. You guys are on a losing edge too. It may not be near as much money that I'm losing, but you're still losing revenue.
It's actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think of the sales tax revenue and everything else that they're losing, it's huge.
Yep. Oh, and now they're selling it for free on the black market, on the gray market, or wherever. So, yeah, it's just some of the stuff that's going on now. It's just I just sit back and go, man, it wasn't that bad. Thank God it wasn't that bad back then. Or maybe it was and we just didn't know. But my God, some of the stuff that goes on. I talk to the guys on a weekly basis about different things that are going on, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And you see these videos, and it just blows my mind, the brazenness of some of these criminals. They just walk in, fill up a bag, and walk out. Yeah. And what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, in my world, in the firearms industry, they'll just drive a car through the front door.
Yeah.
And they'll have another car waiting out in the parking lot, and they run in, grab everything, and run back out.
I remember early on, and I was just learning about ORC early on in my career, and I sat in a presentation, and it was just mind-boggling to me. And the comment was made, they said, part of it is a judicial system back then.
Yeah.
And they said, if you get caught, the criminals know this. They're not in the drug business to do drugs. They're in it to make money.
Exactly.
And they have learned that if I get caught with a briefcase full of heroin, I'm going under the jail. I'm done. My days are over. But if I get caught with a tractor-trailer load of inkjet cartridges, which is probably worth way more than that briefcase of heroin, I might, possibly get Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Maybe. Probably not likely.
So risk reward.
Oh yeah, definitely risk reward problem there.
Yeah.
So you guys are in the hall.
We are over there.
You're in the hall.
Yeah, man.
How's traffic been?
It's actually been really good. For me, it's just good to see all my friends, right?
Right.
It's like, especially after COVID, getting back and being together. But I've had some great conversations, great catching up with people, and we are very much a family in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
I tell people all the time, it's not really an industry; it's a community.
Yeah.
And to be able to get together, break bread, share a drink, and talk about what's happening, and just. We have the ability when we come to these things to have real talk.
Yeah.
Right? And not be sales guy and customer, but rather just, hey, let's talk. What's going on? How can I help you? Hey, I might know a guy. Yep. Maybe I don't do that, but I know somebody who can, that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Well, and you guys, it gives you insights.
Yes.
And what's working well with the platform, what's needed in the platform. So
exactly.
Talking about that, anything new and interesting coming up on the horizon?
That I can talk about.
I will put you on the spot every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me just say this: because we are software as a service, we have the ability to constantly build out the platform and develop it without the end user having to uninstall and reinstall and update. Yep. It's software as a service. So every time there's an update, there's something new. It's just there.
Yeah.
And so we are doing a tremendous amount of work on the back end with more AI, machine learning, where we can...
That's big, where your type of data comes from.
Absolutely. Where we're able to, I think I can mention this, we could do suggested mergers, where the technology can say, we think, or me, the artificial intelligent robot, whatever, thinks that this person might be the same as this person.
Yeah.
And then the human can
say
some sort
of interconnectivity.
Yes, yeah. And we're not doing facial recognition and all that. That could be something down the road as well. But by and large, most folks are shying away from that right now. But we're doing it through like the image recognition and the text information and various other things in the background. And so the system will do the work for you and say, we think this is the same person. Do you agree? And you go, click, yes, I do. And okay, well, he's also been associated with all these other events as well. And by the way, he's also associated with these people and these vehicles. And here's where they've been.
Paint the picture.
It's fantastic.
Paint by numbers there. That's beautiful.
And you're gonna start seeing more of that. We're also building out a lot more on the data side, the dashboard and reporting. So because that data is what's key to be able to know what's happening.
Data's king.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Aura, premium sponsor of Clear. We really appreciate your support. You all were a big part of making this happen. Your team collaborates with us, the board, quite a bit, so we really appreciate all your help and support with that.
Right on.
Bobby's out there, just had a brand new baby girl.
Banks MC Haskins.
Bobby, I got to tell you, I have a daughter. Up until 12. I'll give you till 12. From 12 to about 25, good luck. That's all I can say. 12 to 25, good luck.
I think I told him this already, but when she turns 17, call me and I'll talk you out of killing her.
There you go.
It gets big, does get better.
It's like, it's a roll. It's definitely a bell curve. It's like, here's 12. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then 25.
Mine kind of lasted till they were about 16.
Oh, wow.
16 to 19 was a little rough, but you're right. About 20.
25, then you're friends again.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's like a light switch just got turned off.
The bad part is, that you no longer have designated drivers.
Yeah. When they move out, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. It's like, really? Jeez. So, Bobby, congratulations from Hedgie and I.
Absolutely.
We miss you. We wish you were here, but, you definitely have more important things
Bigger
to
and
do.
better things going on there.
Yep. So,
and we really hope that Banks takes after your wife.
Yes. Yeah, not you. Yeah. Definitely not Bobby. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. So, just kidding, Bobby. So, Hedgie, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure,
Good seeing you, man. We'll have to see each other a little bit more often. Hopefully, you stay busy and I get less busy because my life is very busy right now.
Yeah.
So, All right, everybody, it's JC 2022 Clear down here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Hey, stay tuned for more great content. Look forward to delivering it to you from some more great leaders in the industry. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining us.